Welcome to NHP's On Your Mind, a special 8-part series here on 99 FM where we engage with various healthcare professionals to unpack a number of extremely relevant topics related to the well-being of Namibians, especially at this time. So we're addressing the mental, the psychological, and the physical impacts. And we're also trying to share valuable information and advice to you, the Namibian public. So we'll continue on from where we left off. We're talking stress. And we're here once again with Klara Mudge, nutritionist and wellness advisor. Klara, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be here.
No, it was such an interesting conversation that we had when you were here earlier. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what can we really do to manage and protect ourselves from the long-term effects of stress.
Good question. So there's a lot we can do. The most commonly sort of accepted and well-researched approaches is meditation, which we're all so tired of hearing about, and exercise. So those two have been shown to be the strongest antidotes to stress. Meditation, is something we put on a pedestal, but essentially it's just sitting still, breathing deeply, and being very aware of our surroundings. So what we refer to as presence. And then exercise is just moving the body. So after hearing how physical stress is, exercise is a way to physically process that stress that is originated in our emotions, right? So the body releases stressful emotions with movement and exercise.
So here's my thing when it comes to meditation, because we all think it's this habalahusa.
Yeah.
I have to just take, an hour or 2 hours just sitting there. Folding
pillows.
Ambiance. But we did such an interesting exercise off air that I would like for you to share with us.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's.
Oh, you mean our breath?
Our breath thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this is really like just to your point, meditation doesn't have to be this big glamorous thing you sign up for and have all the equipment for. It's a very unsexy thing, right? It should be as like habitual as brushing your teeth.
Okay.
Right? We don't make a big deal of brushing our teeth. We just do it and we move on.
Yeah.
So one of the quickest ways to sort of get in the way and hack the stress response is with one super deep breath. And you and I were doing that just now. So you just inhale into your belly, you inhale through your nose, and then when you exhale, you pout your lips a little bit as though you're blowing, like blowing out a candle, and you try and get your exhale as long as possible. So should we do that?
Let's.
Okay. Nice big inhale through the nose.
I feel so much better.
Right? It's as if the stress just melts away. Yeah. So that's really the quickest thing you can do. Because what has happened, we just did a breath, but physically, all the things I named just now of like increased heart rate, changes in your digestive system, all of that was now that was a counteraction against all of those things. So our heart rate went down.
Yeah.
There's more space. Your body feels calmer.
And even my thinking process slowed down.
Exactly. Yeah.
Flashing.
There's more oxygen in your brain.
Okay,
there's clearer thinking. Yeah. You're good to go.
Now, in part one, you really scared me with the gut situation.
The visceral fat.
The visceral fat and how everything just goes and sits right here. So let's dive into nutrition. How does good nutrition help stabilize us in terms of fighting stress?
So very good question. And obviously I can't say that nutrition directly affects stress or directly counters stress, but it does in very many secondary ways. So with nutrition, you can influence your brain health, you can influence your heart health, you can influence your gut health, you can influence your immune system. And so it is a secondary effect that nutrition has on the stress response. There's so much that you can do to build up your body's resilience and to just be in a better position to handle those challenges and those overwhelming moments in life. And we can do that by building a strong foundation in our body. And, there's just too much to go into. But like I said, on a direct level, what we eat affects our gut health.
Yeah.
And what we eat does affect our anxiety and our mood in many ways. So we know that stressful thought originates in the brain, and a strong, healthy brain is able to deal with with those stresses more. And we know that a lot of what we eat can affect our inflammation, right? So if stress causes inflammation to be a little bit heightened, then you can counter that with diet. You can go to the healthy fats, the omega-3s, follow a Mediterranean anti-inflammatory diet, which is...
What is that?
So that is a focus on like fish and vegetables and proteins.
Yeah.
Processed foods are to a minimum in a Mediterranean diet. So there's a lot of like very good clean eating, not that many high sugar, high processed foods. And the omega-3 fats are essentially what you find in oily fish. So you may have heard of omega-3 supplements, but that's like... Oily fish are sardines, mackerel, anchovies. What else? You know, those like really oily fish. They have an oil in them that has been shown to really lower inflammation in the body. So that's just one example of how you can lower inflammation in your body. And then also we have seen in various studies over many years that stimulants, so caffeine, high sugar, cigarettes, things like that, does tend to make us a little bit more anxious. So living off of those foods over the long term can make us more anxious.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot to get into. Yeah. But I think as a general golden rule, if you want to make your body more resilient to stress, just go back to the basics. Cut out highly processed foods. Eat just more natural whole foods that nature made, recognizable nature-made foods.
Yeah.
And just try and limit sugar, try and limit those stimulants a little bit. And then alongside that, really try and manage stress in the way that we said, with meditation, those deep breaths, exercise. Give your body lots of opportunities to process and get rid of that stress.
True. Stress is very, very overwhelming. And I know even, from part 1 to part 2, this information seems like, what am I? I'm meditating, and now I'm cutting out coffee, and then I need to eat.
It makes the problem worse. I know.
But just to simplify it, and just to sum it all up, what message do you have for Namibians out there who are feeling just like me, going?
Yes. So I'm so glad you said that, because my message actually is, let's not make stress a bigger problem than it needs to be. Let's not keep ruminating in our minds that stress is making me sick, because that sentence and that thought makes me more stressed.
Yes.
Right? So I think my message is just equip yourself with the tools to deal with stress on a daily basis, and don't make a big deal of it. Become friends with stress and master your stressful thoughts. So give yourself the tools to deal with stress, and know that stress has a protective role. Its intention for you is actually good. It wants you to be ready for what life throws your way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
To not see stress as the enemy, but to see it
The
as
big
an
bad
ally.
monster.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not a monster. It has good intentions. And the best thing you can do is take stress's hand and learn to live with it in a really healthy way, because stress is inevitable. It's not going anywhere.
It's not.
So we might as well be, let it move in, give it a place at the table.
A little nudge. Wink, wink.
Exactly.
You mentioned tools, and what are those? Some of those tools that can help us in managing.
So, again, that's quite a big question, but I can try and summarize it as, what is in your stress toolbox?
Yes.
Are you practicing your regular deep breathing? Are you trying to just move your body quite often to process that stress? Are you reaching out to people when you feel stressed? Are you creating a support system around yourself where you're not internalizing all those stressful thoughts, and you're processing it through speaking to friends, family, or a therapist? So those are just some of the tools. Knowing yourself really well, knowing what self-care and stress management looks like to you, and making sure you make time for those things.
All right. Thank you, Klara, for coming in, for just easing our stress. We're going to do that breathing exercise one last time. It's in through the nose. Is it slowly or just?
You can take a nice big inhale through the nose.
Just a big one. Pouting my lips. And that was NHP's On Your Mind. We were talking stress with Klara Mudge, nutritionist and wellness advisor.